Good morning, everybody. I don't want to forget it, so I want to say today is the Sgula, Tuesday, Parashat Beschalch, פעמיים כי טוב, 2 מקרא ואחת תרגום, סגולה לפרנסה. סגולה for Parnasa is when we read the Parshat of Haman that is in our Parsha of this week, twice as it's written in the words of the Torah, and once in the Targum, Onkelos, and maybe if you add the Rashi also, it's even better. But we have to understand, the idea is not reading it, the idea is to understand it and go with it. We'll come back to it in a minute because we want to talk about it. But first of all, we have to understand in our Parsha there are some interesting figures that are really reflecting to our daily life. We have Paro, we have Moshe Rabbeinu, and we have in the end of Parsha Amalek. Paro, Vayi Beschalch Paro. Paro sent us, God sent us. Who is Paro? But this is exactly the problem. Pharaoh is in an ego trip. He says, I am God. He doesn't care about anything. By the way, we talked about it in the plagues, that every time that something hurt him, he asked Moshe Rabbeinu to take the plague away. But if it didn't touch him, he didn't care about it. So he's not exactly the best leader in the world. From the other side, we have Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu cares only about the people, only about Am Yisrael, to the point that we'll see later on that he even is ready to be marked out of the Bible and not being mentioned, even maybe to die. And God is asking, shouldn't touch even one hair of Am Yisrael. Unbelievable, the difference between the two. Then we have also Amalek. Amalek is somebody who goes against everything, and he shows the whole world, I don't believe in anything. I don't care what I see, I don't care what I hear. I'm against it. And for many years I understood what Amalek is, but to really understand it, a few years ago when the Corona was finishing, we had a customer in Nazareth, an Arab Israeli, atheist, doesn't believe in anything. And when I got there a lesson, this guy is a professor, he's got a few 4 or 5 degrees from university, from the best university in the world. His wife also. He doesn't bring children to the world willingly because he doesn't want to bring children to this rotten world. He believes only in the mind, in his cleverness. He also is a musician. He plays a violin, I think, and also a few other instruments, and his wife also. And they have a school, what they call Michlala. It's a college in Nazareth, and we furnished it. Of course, I had to be very gentle with him, and I couldn't even listen to the nonsense he was talking about, like he doesn't believe in anything. Also talking about the Corona, he says this is a conspiracy, that the drug factories, they inject to somebody injections in order to spread this disease, so they can make money on the medicine that they invented. And it was going on. He invited us to eat meat with him, knowing that we are religious Jews, that we don't eat meat only if it's kosher. And really, the whole time was talking about how great he is, and like the world is corrupt, and the only thing that can save the world is the mind, and doesn't believe in God. There is no God, there is nothing. What can I say? I was very careful because I want to sell him there. And I understood what's the idea of Amalek. He doesn't care what's happened around. He goes against. This is the science against belief. And by the way, there's no problem with the science going with our belief, with the emunah. There is no problem, madav emunah. But in control, we have to understand it's the emunah. It's the believing in God. God created the world. He looked at the Torah and he created the world. So everything, all the science, everything comes from the Torah, comes from God. That's it. Okay. But he marked out God. Okay. So now knowing who Amalek is and understanding it in the daily life, we went from Nazareth. It was quite late, and we wanted to daven mincha, and we looked for a mincha place. So we called to Kfar Daniel. It's a religious village. I didn't know about it anything. Near Afula, I think. And anyway, we saw a big sign, mincha at that time, whatever. So we went into this village. And mincha was not exactly at the time, and then Mariv, it took a long time because the rabbi gave a drasha between Mincha and Mariv that was going on and on and on. But then we realized something very interesting. They were all Chaklaim, they were all dealing with the land, and they were learning Kilayim. Kilayim is what you're allowed to put in the earth and what you're not allowed, and not mingle things together. There had to be a distance between this and this. If you have a vineyard, if you have vegetables and certain plants, you have to have, and they were asking questions, and suddenly the Torah came to reality. When we learn it, okay, somebody told me, I've got a garden. So what is a garden? This guy, he's living from chaklaut. He's living from his plants, from his weed, from the wine, from the grapes, from the vegetables, from the harvest. He lives it, and he has to know the laws. And they're asking, if I have this and something grow near it. And suddenly, I saw the other side. From one side, Amalek, that throws everything away, doesn't believe in anything. And on the other side, even the parts of the daily use, agriculture, this is like nature, the nature itself, when it's connected to the Torah, how beautiful it was to listen to those settlements, to those villagers that are asking the rabbi questions that are practical for them. They're living it. And suddenly you see how the Torah from one side is connected to everything, even to the simple nature, to the plants. Unbelievable. And this is why when I learned about what it is Amalek and what's Pharaoh and what is Moshe Rabbeinu. And all those powers are inside us, and we have to fight them. We have also Shirat Hayam in our Parsha, but as we said, we want to talk about the Parashat Haman. Parashat Haman. What is the idea of reading 2 times the parasha, what's written in the Torah, in the words of the Torah, and once the Targum, like Onkelos, for example? And the idea is simple thing. That's a skula. We read it, and the Parnasa falls on us. No. That's not the idea. The idea is to read it and understand it. All those skula, all those things that talk to this and to that, this all, we have to be very careful with it. There are a lot of charlatans that using it like Baba this, Baba that, Baba. Don't go into it. They are using the let's say the problems that people have, that they want savior and they want to believe in something that's going to help them. As I always say, if all those gulot were so true, so we should have been a nation with wealth, health, children, rich, all the best of the world. You've got all of those gulot. But if you look around, this is not exactly the point. So what's happening? And when they show us this, wow, the rabbi, he because of him I have kids. Oh, the other rabbi, I got rich, and the other rabbi can't submit. If you go and investigate, you will find out a very simple fact. 1,000 people go to this rabbi, and for all those 1,000 people, 2 or 3 had the miracle. It's not a miracle. It's simple statistics. Because, yes, amongst the 100% of couples that haven't got kids, there is a certain percentage that during the year, with treatment and with even without treatment, during the years, they will have children. Not all of them, but part of them. So who they interview? They interview those who had children. They don't interview those who got to the rabbi and paid a fortune and nothing happened. And this is all the fields. So be very careful of those things. This is one point. But now, when we go into Parashat Haman, we have to understand the skula is to understand that everything is from God. When we go in, let's read a few things. One minute. Yes. Okay. So Am Yisrael are crying to God. We've got nothing to eat, nothing, and God brings them the man. And look what the parasha said. וידבר השם משה לאמור, שמעתי מאוד I heard the complaints of Am Yisrael. Talk to them. And by the way, here we see also that they're not only getting manna from heaven, they also get meat. The slav is also starting now. בין 40 תאכלו בשר, you will eat meat, בבוקר תשבעו לחם, in the morning you will have food, you will have bread. And then you know that I am God, you are God. ויהי בערב, and the Arab, in the night came the Slav, ותכס את המחנה, and in the morning there was שכבת הטל, and סביב למחנה וטל שכבת הטל, והנה על פני המזבח דק ופת דרך, ויראו בני ישראל ואמרו, איש לכם, מה זה? מנו? What's this? What's מנו? לא ידעו מהו, they called it man. הוא הלחם, that's the, says Moshe, that's the bread that God gives you to eat. And that's what he says. לקטו ממנו איש לפי אוכלו. Everybody will go and pick up the man, let's say, for himself, for his family, but you have to understand. Omer לגולגולת, one omer to each person. And those that are in your living with you in your tent. ויעשו כן לישראל, and then it says, וילקטו המרבה והממעיט. There were those who were collecting more, and there were those who collected less. ויעמודו באור, and then they came home, and they wanted to look what they've got, and they had exactly the quantity according to the persons in the house, in the tent, or whatever, in the home. For example, if a guy went and collected 5 portions, but he had only 2 people in the house, so when he came to the house, it says he had only 2. And if somebody had 5 people, and he collected only for 2, when he came home, it was for 5. What is this idea? The idea is to understand and realize the man that we get from heaven is also today happening. It's happening every day. We get the Parnasa from God. It looks like we're working for it and doing this and doing that, but this is exactly the belief. That's the skula, to understand that everything is from God. The same as Am Yisrael got the man in the desert from heaven, that's the way we got the Parnasa today from heaven. And we have to understand, you can work from the morning, early morning to the late night. You will not got more or less from what God decided that you deserve, that you have to get. In other words, do the ishtadlut. You have to work. You have to go to work. Otherwise, nothing going to happen. But do it normal. Like if it's a normal day of work is 8 hours, work 8 hours. Don't work 20 hours. It won't help you. From the other side, also, if you think you're going to sit like this and God is going to give you, no, you have to go out to work. Yes, but understand that's not the idea of from early morning to late night. It's not going to help you, because ish kefi ochlo, everybody is going to get exactly what God promises him. ויאמר משה עליהם איש על יותר מן בוקר, he says, don't leave to the morning anything. But people didn't listen. And what happened? ויותר אנשים ממנו וירום תולעים ויבש, and it got rotten with the worms and things. Why? Because it tells you, God, today you got a Parnasa. Don't worry about tomorrow. Have the belief. And the more you believe, the more you will see the miracles happening around you. So the idea was because God could have given Am Yisrael, let's say, man that will last for a month, 2 months, a year, 2 years. Why every day? Because this is the idea, to understand. מי שיש לו פת בסלו, לא דואג למחר. If somebody who's got food for today, don't worry about tomorrow. Have the belief that the same way as God gave it to you today, is going to give it to you tomorrow. That's the belief. That's the idea. And if you think that you are going to save for the bad times, again, we're not talking about normal things. We're talking about people that they starve themselves in order to have, like they're very stingy about themselves, in order to keep for future. And then what happens? They invest in this, and everything collapsed, and they've got nothing. And it happens every day, those things. ויהי ביום השישי, and then comes Friday. And suddenly, לקטו לחם משנה. They have, instead of 1 omer, they have 2 omers. If they have 5 persons, they had 10 portions. So what's going on here? They came to Moshe. And ויאמר אליהם, הוא אשר, that's Shabbos. Shabbat kodesh להשם, מחר אש אשר תאפו ואת אשר, you will cook for tomorrow, you will have plenty and leave the rest for tomorrow. You eat today, and the rest you leave for tomorrow. ויניחו אותו עד הבוקר שציווה משה, and then they leave it. And now, you remember what happened if somebody left for the next day? It got rotten. So, they worried, what's going to happen? We are going to keep it for tomorrow. And then, it was unbelievable. Nothing happened to it. It was as fresh as the minute that they took it from the field. ויאמר משה, אכלו היום, eat it today, it's Shabbos. Hayom lotim, today you will not get it from heaven. It's not going to come. On Friday you got a portion for Shabbos, which is also a big lesson for us, to show us, to understand that the Parnasa comes from God. And on Shabbos we're not working. So people say, why? I am going to work Shabbos, so I'm going to earn more money. No, you're not, because God is going to provide for Shabbos during the week. And on Friday you will have enough also for Saturday. So it is somebody told me this. I think the Chafetz Chaim said it's like you have a big vessel of water or whatever, and you have six taps. I think you're saying the beres, and he says, let's put another one. What's going to happen? You have to see this vessel, this kli, it's got the water is the same if you have 6 opening, if you have 7 opening. Not only this, if you have 7 taps, it's going to go quicker out. So this is exactly the idea. God gives you exactly what you're supposed to get. Now it's your belief to understand and be like, God says on Shabbos we don't work, and I'm going to provide you during the week for Shabbos. Those who believe in it, Baruch Hashem, there is no bracha in working on Shabbos. And there are a lot of stories about, especially taxi drivers, that they have, let's say the main business was Shabbos. When they stopped on Shabbos, they couldn't believe it, that they still got the same money and even more when they didn't work on Shabbos. But that's exactly the idea. That's the belief. That's the skula. And then, of course, a few people, there's always those people at Datan ve'Aviram is going always against Moshe Rabbeinu, and they went like they left the day before. Let's say in the early morning, they went out and put some man on the field to want to show that Moshe Rabbeinu is not right. Here the man got down, but when they went out in the morning, there was nothing there. And we haven't got time to go through everything, but the idea is we have here the Shabbos and another interesting thing, any taste you wanted to taste in the man, you had. In other words, it's a symbol of whatever you want is you're getting from God. Everything is from God. Whatever you've got is from God. Doesn't matter how it looks, how it tastes, it's from God. And in the beginning it says, Leman anasenu. What is Leman anasenu? I'm going to try you. The trial is very simple. What are you doing with your time? If you understand that the main thing is to connect yourself to the Torah, to learn, to do mitzvahs, so you're not dealing the whole day and night with Parnasa. You are believing God, as we said, and a part of this believing is to do the ishtadlut and understand that all the rest is from God. Everything that we've got is from God. So then, sit and learn. Do mitzvahs. What's going to be the Parnasa? Don't worry. God is going to provide. That's the trial, to see if we trust God. Now, if you trust in God, and you go according to those things, and you keep the mitzvahs, and you do your ishtadlut, and understand that everything you've got is from God, and it's written there, and it doesn't matter if you're going to work 20 hours, or you're going to work 8 hours, you're going to get the same Parnasa. And Shabbos, as we said, again, Shabbos is provided by God anyway during the week. And nevertheless, they say that whatever you take on Shabbos out, like if you buy expensive thing for Shabbos, it's not in the calculation. But that's another issue. The main thing is for us to understand. Today is the Segula, but the Segula is not only reading it. Understand, while you read it twice, understand. And onkelos is, in the old times they used onkelos was the translation that everybody understood. So today it's better off that we also read the Rashi with it, and also understand the words, understand what it's all about, and believe in it. And Bezrat Hashem, this is going to be a skula for Parnasa for all of us, and this is going to give us the power to fight against the Pharaoh inside of us, and against the Amalek inside of us, and go in the way of Moshe Rabbeinu, the way of the Torah. All the best.